Welcome, Hawk fans. Welcome to another episode of Hawk Talk. I am your host, Colin Cole, and I'm joined with my resident co-host, Mr. Porter, the 3-year starter at right tackle, the two-time All Big Ten right tackle. Joining me, of course, Mr. Porter. Thank you for joining me today, buddy.
Dude, thanks for having me. Always fun here, dude. And
Yeah,
always a fun topic, but it's fun.
yeah. It's always entertaining, if nothing else. So, today's post-game show, we're going to talk about, of course, the Hawks traveling to Columbus, Ohio to take on the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. And I'm sure that we all know what happened in the game. It unfortunately ended as a 54-10 victory for the Buckeyes. And it is the worst loss point wise, statistical and point wise, in Kirk Ferentz's tenureship at the University of Iowa. So this is the highest amount of points allowed by an Iowa defense, and it sucks because this team definitely had its opportunities. Offense again did not put up any points. Defense did score a touchdown. Joe Evans in the first quarter got himself a sack on the TE twist. Got in the face of Stroud, got the ball out, and picked it up himself and said, "I'm doing it all myself." Sack, caused fumble, scoop and score, end zone. That's what he decided to do, and was
Yeah.
able to put some points on the board in Iowa's favor. But from there, and even before there, it was pretty much a dominant effort by the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, David, let's jump right into it, man. CJ Stroud did not disappoint. He threw the ball around the yard. The thing about it, though, he threw a few interceptions. He had to fumble, he turnover, and definitely has some chinks in the armor. What did you see out of that Ohio State offense led by CJ Stroud against the Hawkeye defense that held its own for about 3 quarters, and things just got a little bit out of hand? But what do you think about the performance that this Hawkeye defense had against one of the country's top offenses this year?
Well, we know that our defense is the heart of our team. Um, we didn't know that they were going to be the scoring machine that they are for us, and probably the only scoring vehicle that we really have had consistently. I'm going to say this season, they scored when the in this game, and the offense didn't score a touchdown. The defense outscored the offense. That said, like you said, the defense really put up a valiant effort against its offense. It's Ohio State offense, which they were full strength. They had their preseason All-American receiver come back this game. He did. I think he tweaked his hammy again. Um, but that Ohio State they were a little out of sync, and I think that a large part was due to our defensive pressure. Like our defense, those guys are pretty good over there. We all know that they are. They came out. We saw how they can. It really impact the game when they're nice and fresh. Like you said, they held up for about 3 quarters. But that offensive line on Ohio State, they're big and they're mean. And C.J. Stroud and those receivers that he has, that stable of receivers that he has over there, those guys just kept coming at us, and there wasn't really much we could do about it. Uh, initially we could stall them, which is what we did, which is great. We helped them to, I think it was 16 points in the first quarter. Most of that was on field goals. They did have a defensive touchdown from Ohio State, but C.J. Stroud threw for 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He did have an interception. He had that fumble, like you said. We came around that TE, and popped it right in the mouth. Fumble recovery, a scoop and score for a touchdown there, which is great. But they just kept staying the course. I mean, CJ Stroud, he was what, 20 for 30, almost 300 yards passing. He was like 296, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's huge, especially going against our defense, which we're known for like stopping the run. And then when they try to pass against us, our ball hawks back there, our secondary, that's usually been a strength of our team. Last year we had 21 interceptions. This year we're just a little behind with that, and that's literally been like the tail of the tape. He put that ball in places that I'm not used to seeing that on the collegiate level. You have Marvin Harrison Jr. over there. He's working that sideline like his father did. Double both feet inbounds. He's extending the field, working that sideline. So that Ohio State offense, even though they even sputtered coming out of like the bye week, they were just dysfunctional getting started. They looked really good, and especially against one of the best defenses in the country, to give up to produce the amount of points that they produced. I believe they put up a total of 48 points or 47, no 42. That's really good, and that this offense that Ohio State has, they're just a different caliber. They really are.
Yeah, they definitely turned it up a notch. You mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr. He toe tapped the sideline like his dad used to. Looked like he was catching one of those passes from Peyton Manning. He did a tremendous job doing that. The young man that you have yet to mention his name is Jackson Smith and Jigba. That young man is, like you said, a preseason All-American, but he wasn't able to finish the game. I'm sure he retweaked his injury, but they ran it up, man. It was not a good day for the Hawks as a whole. Not a good day for the Hawks. 360 total yards, 294 passing. I love the rushing statistics. The Hawks kept them to 66 total rushing yards, and you got to factor in the sacks in that equation. But they get after them, and it was a tremendous effort by the Hawkeye defense. Special teams. We saw a play in the game uncharacteristic of our Aussie bomber, and I can't fault him because I feel like everybody's doing everything they can to help put the team in the best position to win. And he tried. He tried to run it. I wish he would have. I really wish he would have like leaned on his rugby days, because Torrey is he's definitely a rugby player coming out of Australia. So I wish he would have leaned on that and get outside and
Get outside, dude. Go.
And lean and put that helmet down. Use that a little bit. You standing straight up and down, got popped in the chin. I don't like that, man.
Oh,
take hits like that, Torrey. We don't need that, man. But valiant effort, tremendous job punting all day. 5 punts for 205 yards. The young man has been stellar all season. And, he tried to make a play, and I cannot fault him for trying to do so, because we needed as many plays as we possibly could muster. That was about as it in special teams category, because, our special teams definitely is a group that typically gives us an edge. I would say that both special teams played about to the same level, so they kind of canceled each other out. And so it all goes to the Iowa Hawkeye offense. So we saw Spencer Petras throw 2 interceptions in the first half. The very first play of the game, I'm sure you all know, he threw an interception, sprint out to the left. Looks like the safety man just rolled down in front of that thing and just kind of was in that window. But needless to say, it was an interception, and it put us in a bad position right out the gate. And then to throw another interception with little time left in the second quarter to a linebacker. It looked like he was trying to get the ball to LaShawn Williams, but he was way off on that pass. And so Kirk and Brian decided to go and put Alex Padilla in the game to start off the second half. And it's tough coming in cold into an environment like the Horseshoe after having sat on the sideline for the majority of the game, and then to be called upon to perform. It's a tough deal. And obviously, we know what happened the first snap that he was in. They fumbled the snap away. I don't know if they practiced the snaps before they came on the field, but that was the turnover right there. And then as soon as he came on the field, gave Ohio State a short field, an opportunity to score right then and there. But Alex went on, played more, and went 5 for 10 for 32 yards and 1 interception. And the change has happened. I don't know if it's going to be a long, sustained change, but it came about in the Ohio State game. The leading receiver for the game, Sam Laporta, 6 receptions for 55 yards. All of the receivers that caught a ball just caught 1 ball. And so leaned heavily on that tight end position. And of course, offense scored no touchdowns. Um, we didn't muster much of anything in the run game. We actually only had 77 total rushing yards when you factor in the sacks, and 81 total passing yards. So very tough showing, very tough outing for this for the Hawkeye offense, David. They made the decision to go ahead and pull Spencer and put Alex Padilla in the game. What are your thoughts on how he performed and the decision, and as well as where this team goes from there? Is this a permanent move, or was this an attempt to see if they can get the offense sparked with Alex in the second half? What's your best thoughts on where the Hawks go from there with their quarterback situation?
Well, like you said, getting Alex in the game, and especially in this game, for the first game of his season, after being on the bench the whole season, and then pretty much he got into the second half, right?
Yep, the start of the
So third quarter,
second half. Yep.
started second half, and then he comes in, they're already down, right? They're down 26-7, 26-10 in the horseshoe against the number 2 team in the country. That's a tough start for anybody. And with that offensive line and the lack of, we'll call it, weapons at his disposal to actually do his job effectively, I mean, he was pretty much set up for failure to begin with. And for a guy like that, and any kid, especially in collegiate level, would hope that he's prepared to go in and play just like the starter. Right, that's what you're supposed to do throughout the week and throughout the season too. Your backup quarterback, you're one play away from having your backup quarterback go in there and start for you. You really are. One hit is gone. And with this offensive line, I mean, we've had plenty of hits, so Alex should have been prepared to go in and play the game. The QB center exchange, I mean, that stuff was worked on in 2 days. I mean, get out of here. Hey, you're just getting started. You got to ride that a little bit longer. If the center's moving, if he's used to doing snapping a different way, you just got to ride that a little bit longer. I don't know if that was Alex or if that was Logan, but for an offense, especially in a Power Five conference and at Iowa, I'm going to go with that's inexcusable. That's not what we do here. But as far as going forward, I don't know if Alex will get the opportunity. They may. I think there's a pretty good chance they're going to go back to Spencer after what they saw, and I just think that's unfair to Alex. I think he should get an opportunity to start. He is, from what I'm seeing, able to go out there and do a little bit more. He's a mobile quarterback, a dual threat, exactly what we need, especially behind that offensive line. And with some of the teams that we have coming up in the season, he is a better fit to give us the opportunity, a best opportunity to win. So I think in my estimation, we talked about this earlier in the season. After game 2, he would have been put in as my starter. I would get 2 games, evaluate them as you get into the heart of the season. And that way you have a pretty fair comparison. I don't know where they're going to go right now. Much of what they have been doing this year, especially on the offense, I'm going to go just the offense only, hasn't made a lot of sense to me. I don't get it. I've been sitting here watching it. I've been watching Spencer. I think all the other Hawk fans were watching the same thing. And we're sitting here like, we just don't get it. Everybody's told, everybody on the outside can see it. And so we're just kind of wondering, what are we watching? So, to be honest, I just don't know what they're going to do. Because a lot of things on offense just don't make sense to me. I wish I had a better answer.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I get it. I agree with you. You're 1000% correct, right? It's a unique situation because it's not something typical. And I would say Iowa definitely has been super untypical throughout this year so far. We talk about some of the changes that you talked about there. We talk about the fact that our receiving core is led by our tight end, who more than almost doubles the statistics of the wide receiving core. And our defense has scored more points dating back to last year.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy year, topsy-turvy few years actually, between
Hmm.
this season, last season. And so it's hard to fully be able to evaluate all of it, you know. But
Yeah.
oh my goodness, it is definitely, man.
Yo.
It was a tough game to watch, considering that they put themselves in position. They held this group to, I want to say, 5 field goals in the first half, and you know, defensive score, one offensive score, one defensive score, and the defense did its job. And so at this point, Kirk has to decide how he's going to move forward. You know, with 5 games left in the season, 5 games left in the season, still an opportunity to get to a bowl game, and they have to take it upon themselves to find a change. I agree with you. Alex definitely brings something to the table that Spencer does not. I feel like it would behoove them to give him the opportunity to start this game, to bring him in the second half, to start the second half against a already warm top 5 defense in the country, um, and he's cold off the bench. You know, whether he's prepared to start or not, that's a difficult environment to jump out there and get and take the snap, which I feel like is probably a big part of why he fumbled that first snap. Now I missed, you said something about he needs to ride that longer. I don't know what that means. You know,
So,
for our viewers, for our listeners, viewers out there, David, what do you mean by Alex needs to ride that thing a little bit longer? What do you mean by
Oh God. Well, typically with snaps, you have to focus a little bit longer, right? On where the ball is hitting your hand, whether you're in whether you're in shotgun or if you're under center, right? You just have to pay attention a little bit more because it's different. It's just different because there's a difference in quarterbacks, even when you're calling the cadence. So when you're under center, you ride it longer, as in like you're staying in there longer than you would normally do it, just to make sure you secure the ball,
that?
right? All right. And when you're in when
Shotgun?
you're in shotgun,
Mhm.
all right, you're sitting there concentrating a little bit longer, making sure you got the ball in your hand. Just sitting there a little bit longer. Sometimes you see quarterbacks, they get comfortable because they know the center is where the ball's gonna be coming. You're fresh coming in, you just don't know.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot. New center, I shouldn't say new, but this year is his first year starting. He's going against a pretty good defensive line. Uh, Sometimes you just don't know what's going on. So just ride it a little bit longer, stay in it a little bit longer, and control it. That's just what we need you to do there.
Okay, I appreciate you giving me that answer there. I appreciate that because okay. So you mean keep your hand up underneath the center longer is what you mean. Keep that, ride the undercarriage of the center longer. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's an issue if you don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, concentrate a little bit longer. Watch it into your hands. I should get it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Alex needed to ride that thing a little bit longer to start off the second half. And so we got to clean up the mistakes, clean up the mess, and go from there. All right. So with that, I want to thank you all for joining us on Hawk Talk. You know, it was a difficult game, but we'll come back with the upcoming game. We look forward to seeing how things shake out as the Hawks play host to the Northwestern Wildcats. So with that being said, excited to bring that game to you, or I should say that pregame to you later on this week. Look forward to dropping that. Click the like and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we appreciate you all for joining us. I'm Colin Cole for my guest host David Porter. I want to say God bless and go Hawks.
Go Hogs.